Heck yeah. Okay, excellent. So, hello there, my friends. What is going on? Hello there. Oh, sorry, technical issues there. So, whatever. Let's go ahead and just start this right over again. Hello, my fellow ascending people. I hope that you did something today that betters your life, maybe even in like a small little way, but as long as it betters it, we're always ascending over here. Speaking of ascending, I do have the KG. He is the man who created internetmoney.io, a crypto wallet that is basically like a lot of people say Rabby is the best one. I don't know, man. I'm kind of looking at internet money. So, with that being said, though, KG, for the people who do not know who you are you?
Well, first of all, I appreciate your kind words and your vote of confidence. We work very hard to do what we do, so we always appreciate that good feedback. My name is KG. I'm the founder of the Internet Money Crypto Wallet, and you can find us at internetmoney.io. That's who I am at a high level. Happy to dive into it or answer any questions.
Yeah, go ahead. Yes, please. If you could dive into that, I would appreciate that.
Sure. So even though I'm standing founder, we are also a company. So I am the CEO of the company. I'm also the CTO of the company. So while I am handling operations, I'm also handling all the technicals, managing the product development, managing the development team, communicating development updates to necessary people, to the community, always engaging with the community, taking that feedback, implementing what the actual users and community is looking for. So ideally, one day we would love to have more KGs on the team, but right now in early startups, well, I say early, we've been a company for about 3 years. So I'm not going to say early, but in the startup game, you'll see founders like myself and the core team putting in 15-hour days on the regular. So we are growing. We are getting better and better every day. But right now I am CEO and CTO of Internet Money Wallet.
Excellent. Are you also the janitor?
If I have to be the janitor, then the answer is yes. Whatever has to get done for the success of this business, I'll put the hat on. Does not bother me.
That's fantastic. I love it. No, you do a lot over there. That's for sure. So let's go ahead and get into some of these questions, right? So internet money, right? It places a significant emphasis on decentralization and deflationary principles. So could you walk us through the specific measures you've implemented to ensure that, IM remains free of central control and resistant to inflationary pressures?
Sure. So, loaded question there because a lot of elements at play. When we're talking about the wallet itself, while it's not decentralized, because by nature of having a product on the app stores, you're not decentralized because there is a team building it, managing it, pushing updates. When we argue with Apple every 3 months to try to educate them on crypto and why you don't have to comply to fiat laws, takes a team to do that. So there is an element of centralization in the software of the wallet itself. Now, but we do not collect any data, which is some might call that decentralized. And while it certainly has the decentralized ethos,
Well, it does have privacy, that's for sure.
exactly. And so while we have a quote centralized service, the wallet, we don't have our users' data. And so if we ever have to comply with other centralized entities, we can and still protect user data. Richard famously said the best way to protect user data is to not have it. So that's a big core ethos of the team. As far as the tokens that we have in our ecosystem, there's varying degrees of decentralization there. and we're constantly taking steps to make them more and more decentralized. So there is a distinction between the wallet itself and the tokens in our ecosystem.
Yes, and there's two tokens in your ecosystem, which is just internet money and then time, right? I was just kind of curious though. You have a third one coming out. Am I correct about that?
We currently have 3 tokens in existence. There is internet. So first of all, if you're watching out there, we have more intro level streams. All right. He said he wanted to dive deep. So we're going deep here today. So we have 3 tokens in our system. We have internet money, IM, time, dividend, time, or future time dividend, future. So internet money or IM was actually the first token we launched, and we launched that 3 years ago. And the purpose of that token, for all intents and purposes right now, it's speculative until it's not. But our intention with that token is, being a wallet, one of our plans is to get the wallet actually transacting with merchants so that people can use their crypto to exchange goods and services. And so internet money is our digital cash, if you will. There's no team supply, no taxes, no reflections. Liquidity's locked and burned. It's 100% decentralized. It's mutable. No, like that token is truly 100% decentralized. No OA, no centralized zilch. It's out there. It's in the hands of the people. It's either going to succeed or fail. It's its own baby now, right? That's it. It's done. So it's a very simple token. It is deflationary. It does have a buy and burn mechanic, which we can get into, but completely decentralized. Now, time is our flagship token. It's really one of the things that makes internet money wallets so special. We invented this token. Calling it a token is an injustice. We invented this technology, and we're the first and only wallet in crypto to do this. And to my knowledge, the first and only token to ever have a model in this way. So we created this contract. It's ours. It's our invention. Okay. What it does is the internet money wallet has an in-app swap feature that exists on PulseChain, Binance, Ethereum, and Polygon currently. We want to expand to more chains as time goes on. There is a small fee when you swap from one token to another. 100% of that fee is distributed to holders of the time token. So if you're holding time on PulseChain, you're earning passive income in PLS. If you're holding time on Ethereum, you're earning passive income in ETH, and so on. Time itself is not inflationary. Again, it is deflationary through a buy and burn mechanic. So we can dive into that.
Yeah, I think we can. We'll do that. I believe we'll do that a little bit later on because we are going to be diving into time, right? And then I do especially want to get into that buy and burn mechanic. But right now, though, let me go ahead and ask this question for you. So you mentioned in IM's mission to shift wealth away from centralized entities that often drain values from others. So how do you foresee IM's deflationary design affecting its competitive edge against traditional inflationary financial models?
Sure. I think that anybody who lives in a country where their fiat currency is inflating look, inflation is part of the currency game in a growing society, right? So there's a level of inflation that's not bad, because you don't want a currency, a fiat currency especially, to get so scarce that nobody spends it, right? If people start hoarding a currency, then the flow of commerce ceases to exist. So there is a healthy level of inflation. But in a country like America, that healthy level of inflation has gone out the window. There was a point in time just a few years ago where I could go to the local grocery store, buy 3 12-packs of soda for $9.99. Now I can't get a single 12-pack of soda for under $10. So that's a level of inflation that becomes untenable because it's not slowing down. It's growing at a rate that is making goods and services relatively unaffordable. Where in the internet money ecosystem with our tokens, we notice this. And look, Is internet money going to solve finance? I don't know. It's lofty to say such a thing, but if people adopt this thing, okay, so let's just pretend, right, in our fun thought experiment here, when you have a currency that is deflating, no no new currency value is entering the system, it should make the unit that you're transacting in more valuable by nature of it being more scarce. And so while people's fiat currency is going up and being devalued, right? Because more and more in America, the Fed has their finger on that admin key, printing those dirty fiat dollars day and night. That's not possible with something like internet money. And so theoretically, if it gets that adoption, you could rival your US dollar inflation.
I love that. Yeah, it's kind of like one of the things that is very interesting actually out in the traditional space is gold technically does have a cap on it. Now, obviously, we can mine for it and find more of it in the ground somewhere, but it's really it gets to a certain level where it's like it's almost impossible to mine for it. But here's the thing that's really interesting about gold itself is that it's actually created in supernovas.
Mm,
So you're not, I'm sorry, you're not going to be making real gold, on
right.
Earth, right? And that's kind of what it reminds me of a little bit, where you have actually Bitcoin is this way as well, where it's like the price is forever going to go up because you only have a limited supply, and that limited supply is always getting eaten up, aka deflationary, right? However, that's where you get something like the US dollar, though, too, that kind of inflates. It gives you purchasing power and other things because I don't know about you, but I don't want to walk around with a bunch of gold, right? And I mean, once you spend it too, like I would say it's more of a store of value, right? So like the IM token would be more of a store of value where you don't really want to spend it almost at that point. Instead, you're almost going to want to hoard it, which I actually I'm a bit curious on your thoughts on that. Where could this lead to, I am gaining the ability as a hedge fund, or sorry, hedge against inflation, say with dollars?
I mean, yes, if again, it is heavily predicated on how heavily it gets adopted. But theoretically, if more people continue to buy into the system, if there are more partners that get into the system and allow IM to be used as a currency, maybe I can buy clothes or gift cards or pay, for food and drinks or contractors or whatever. If more people start to buy into that system, yes, theoretically, but ideally, excuse me, we would want IM to be moved, right? It would be great for me as seeing the vision come to life if people didn't hoard it. I mean, look, people are going to do what they're going to do, but it would be cool to see it actually being transacted, bought, sold, sent, whatever, and actually see what the reality would play out to be as a currency that is deflating and people are using it. I don't know anywhere that we've actually seen that happen in at a grand scale.
Yeah, it's funny because that's actually I was going to move into that question right there. Is could the scarcity of internet money actually lead to hoarding, and if so, like how might that actually impact the use as a form of digital cash?
I mean, it's probably if people hoard it, then it's going to become like a Bitcoin thing where people don't really spend their Bitcoin, right? Their whole philosophy is never sell it, never extract the value. So people aren't using it for coffees and stuff, which is in a way kind of a travesty because if you look, don't get me wrong, I want to make more disgusting United States dollars too because I have to pay bills and buy food and put gas in my car, and those things take United States dollars. So right now I'm bound to this system until I'm not. So there is an element of I want to make more money in crypto so that I can make more US dollars, but that's inherently the problem with how the industry is being used is that, and that is the problem with Bitcoin, is it right now has the best chance of any other digital asset to actually be something that people can depeg themselves from their fiat currency. And instead, the ethos is don't touch it. It's like, well, I get it. I get why people are saying that, but they're shooting themselves in the foot ultimately, because if we were using it in our everyday lives, value would probably be higher anyways. So people would probably hoard it because they want their US dollars is the short answer.
That's great. Well, there we go. So internet money, go buy yourself some and bury it out in the backyard on your treasure, I guess.
Right.
So yeah, as you were saying though, I think this is a good time to actually get into this. So the internet money wallet, it shares swap fees with time holders, right? So could you explain how the fee structure is determined and what factors influence its stability?
So the fee is fixed at 0.729% of the transaction fee, which comparing to MetaMask at 0.875% and Trust Wallet at 1%, it is amongst the competitors on the lower end of the scale. And that transaction fee is paid in the form of the blockchain's native coin. So if you're swapping on PulseChain, the user is going to pay that fee in Pulse. Then 100% of that fee, 100% of that fee is distributed to time holders. So if you are holding, let's say, 1% of the time supply, you're earning 1% of every pulse that comes in on every transaction, or ETH, so on. The factor that would affect its stability is how many users are swapping in the wallet. It doesn't matter if they're buying or selling time. They could be buying Hex or PulseX or insert PulseChain or Ethereum altcoin here. It doesn't matter. As long as they're swapping in the wallet, time holders get
using
paid.
the swap. Easy peasy. Do you have a visualization that you could possibly pull up for us to kind of see that?
Sure.
I know. So yeah, guys, this is a really cool function, and I would almost say it was inspired by PulseX, right? Where it's kind of like with every swap going on in there, the fees itself gets bought and burned of the PulseX, right? Which is really neat. I love that idea, and so yeah, this is one of the reasons why. And you said it burns internet money, correct? Or was it time? You said.
So it actually burns both.
Okay.
And since we're going deep, I'll wait. Well, don't share that one. Let me see. Wait, did that one? No, I think that was fine. I just have a lot of tabs open here. Lots of wallets open. Lots of wallets open.
It's got to be the janitor sometimes, so you got to have all this open.
Yeah, I literally do. Okay, let me see. I believe it's this one. Okay, go ahead.
Alrighty.
Okay, so this is what a user would see. I'm on the Chrome extension, by the way. Internet Money Wallet exists on Android, iOS, and Chrome. And Nate, I will circle back to your question. I'll show you the visual of what's getting bought and burned and how that's actually occurring.
Fantastic.
So obviously you're not going to have money in your wallet, but other than that, this is what somebody would see when they download the wallet. So you could see you're natively connected to PulseChain, which is awesome, but you can come in here and change your network. Sorry, my internet's running a little slow because there we go. There we go. I'm on stream. So yeah, we have all these preloaded networks in the wallet, but of course you can add your own custom network. But you will be natively connected to PulseChain by downloading the wallet, which is great for onboarding because even if we're out there talking to Ethereum or Blast folks, we're onboarding them into PulseChain. So we introduce a lot of people to PulseChain actually. But okay, so we're going to go.
So the ones that says swap there are those the actual like fees that you can swap through?
So these are the 4 chains that, yeah, if it has the swap badge, you can swap any token on that network. Okay, if it has the change badge, this is actually a supported chain in our cross chain swap. So they're 2 different features, and that's why we have the badges.
Awesome. All right, cool.
Yep. So we'll show you both of those. So you can either click the swap from the homepage, but I'm going to go ahead and go into the wallet. And this is really cool. So I got a little bit of Pulse in here. And let's say we want to buy some time token. Okay, we'll add that to our wallet. But also we have about 300 PulseChain tokens preloaded into the wallet and growing, as well as price tracking for every wallet or every token. So there you go. And we show obviously the price change, all this awesome stuff. And then I'll go ahead and click the swap. Obviously select my account, the asset I'm swapping out of, the asset I'm swapping into. You can choose to swap by units of Pulse or units of whatever token or US dollars. So I'll just do, let's say, $5. And then you could set your slippage. This is actually really handy. So if you're out there swapping tax tokens, a big one going around the community right now is PTGC or UFO. Those have taxes. And so a lot of people don't know, actually. And this is something that I've realized with a lot of tax token communities. I see people complaining about it using our product, using PulseX, using any other swap place. A lot of people in these communities, this is just a PSA to the founders of tax tokens in general. No one specific community, just trying to help you guys out. Tax token communities need better education. They don't realize that you actually have to put the taxes that you're accommodating for into the slippage field. So if your token has 10% taxes, you need to put at least 10% slippage in order to get quotes. So if you're failing to get quotes on these places you're swapping, input the proper slippage.
That'd be wild. Could you imagine that? 10%? Ugh. Gross.
There's a lot. I mean, I see yes, it's high, but I see tax tokens all the time between 5 and 10%.
Yeah, that is true. Actually, I've seen the majority of the ones I've seen are usually like anywhere from like 3 to 5%.
Right. See that, and of course they go out and do cool things, and that's awesome. So I'm not one of those guys who's like tax tokens. Look, if you're doing something cool and innovative, let's go and just swap it in the wallet. It's really it.
Absolutely.
That's all I care about. All right. So, but no taxes for this one. So we're just going to go ahead next. Now, here's what's really important. These are all the liquidity sources we're actually searching with the click of a button.
Wow, so you got Shiba Swap in there. I love it.
That's forked Shiba Swap from the PulseChain fork.
Oh, really?
Forked Shiba Swap, Sushi Swap, Uniswap V2, Uniswap V3, and Pancake Swap forked over. To my knowledge, we're the only front end for Shiba, Sushi, Pancake, and Uni V2. I think there's a Uni V3 fork front end, but so anyways, in a click of a button, you searched all those liquidity sources. If they have liquidity at all, it's going to show all of the quotes, and then it's going to put the recommended option at the top. In this particular swap, it's going to be Pateus. But what's cool is let's say, hey, you're a PulseX V1 maxi, and you want all of your economic energy to go through PulseX V1 because you want to support that buy and burn. Well, then you could still select it. There's nothing tying you to the recommended option. Just the recommended option is sorted by what's going to yield you the most token, right? So you can see the Pateus quote and the Fux quote are practically the same, is literally down to a couple decimals, right? That Pateus beat Fux by.
That's beautiful, by the way. I love that.
So this is when people say, hey, I'm going to all these dexes and comparing quotes. Stop. Go to the Internet Money Wallet, compare everywhere on PulseChain and places you can't even access in one click of a button.
That'll save you some time.
And we actually have this feature coming very soon to our DApp, so we could talk a little bit about that later.
Wait a minute, I just realized the stupid joke I made. That'll save you some time.
There you see. Time's a very powerful. There's a lot in. See, time is our most precious asset.
Yes.
And it also breaks down to the internet money ecosystem. So there you go. All right. Fantastic. So we're going to click on Pateus, and then you can see what your estimate's going to be, what the US dollar output's going to be. You can see your gas fee. You can easily adjust that. This is exactly what you're paying as a fee to time holders, this wallet fee. So time holders will make 3 cents on this trade. And you can click to swap. And that's it. So then you can actually go back to the main screen, check your transaction here. It's pending. If you're here, this is another really cool feature about the Internet Money Wallet. A lot of people like to say, or they don't like to say, but they do say, hey, I have a stuck transaction. I'm using wallet ABC, especially on PulseChain. Other wallets, we see these reports all the time of users having stuck transactions on PulseChain. There's a reason we say optimize for PulseChain. It's very important. We have this feature on every chain, but if you ever experience a stuck transaction, all you have to do is go into your stuck transaction, which is almost never in the Internet Money Wallet, but in the rare case, just click this button and it loads everything we just did right back. And so it's just so user friendly. And
Yeah, that's really user friendly because I know a stuck transaction. I'm still using for the most part MetaMask right now,
sure,
and it happens all the freaking time. I'm not even gonna lie.
I know.
And yeah, it's like as soon as you do have a stuck transaction, then you got to go in and then you got to manually readjust like the decimals and all that, the gas, and it's like, what is going on here? It
Yeah,
gets complicated very quickly. So this is incredibly user friendly.
100%. So the reason gas is often getting stuck in these other the reason why transactions are often getting stuck in these other wallets when we're talking about PulseChain is because they're not handling the gas calculations correctly. And so we do, which is why they almost never get stuck. And when they do, I mean, that feature has been a crowd favorite, let's say. The fact that things don't get stuck, and when they do, one little button. And no, hey, send yourself a 0 transaction to reset the nonce. No. Stop all of that weird Web 2 wallet stuff. Click a button, move on with your life. So
I love how you said Web 2 right there. That was fantastic.
So there we go. I mean, if we were to actually do that process without all that talking, that would have taken you probably 30 seconds. No connecting to dApps. You searched 15 liquidity sources on PulseChain. It's unbeatable. So for people that like to get higher yielding swaps, like easier experiences, Internet Money.
And so you've got the swap change, NFTs, send receive. What is change all about?
So that is the cross-chain swap, if you want me to go into that.
Yeah, let's go into it. Let's do it.
All right. So again, you can also select that feature from the main homepage. If you're on mobile, there's a buy and sell button. And when you click that, it opens up your buy and sell options. But you can go ahead and click change. And this is actually okay. This gets really cool. This is actually a relatively new feature, but right now this supports 27 different networks. So you can swap not just PulseChain. It supports all of these chains. So like we will use PulseChain in this example because I only have Pulse in this account. But you can also swap Pulse into, let's say, Base. Right? Let's go Pulse to Base right here. Here's another really cool thing. So you see how it says choose the account to change with. Okay, it's my only account. Fine. Choose the account to change into. This is where it gets really special. You can literally change into any address. What does that mean? I could literally go right here. I could grab my Coinbase account and swap my Pulse right into Base on Coinbase. Be ready to cash out.
Wait a minute, is that like wrapped?
No,
Wrapped pulse or
no. It's going to go in. It's going to swap Pulse for Ethereum on Base, and then it can send it, let's say, to your Coinbase account.
wow, that's
Clean.
different. Can we get into that? Because that's just I haven't heard that one yet, actually. That's a new one for me. Let's dive into that.
Yeah. So by default, when you're changing, it's just going to change right into the account, right? Because the assumption is, hey, you as the user just want to swap your Pulse into, let's just say ETH, right? Just for simplicity's sake here. Okay, bam. You just want to change your Pulse to ETH. All good. No, this is regular Pulse and regular ETH. This isn't wrapped. This isn't anything like that. You're losing your Pulse. You're gaining your ETH. Okay. With this feature is special though, because the recipient of, in this case, the ETH doesn't have to be the address that's changing. It can be anything. So Nate, I could take my Pulse and send you ETH. If you gave me your address, I could literally send you ETH with my Pulse.
Wait, so does this only work with the gas tokens then? Because this is
Yes.
that's wild, by the way. So
Yes.
it's only the gas tokens, and I guess
For,
that
for
makes
now.
sense,
For
right?
now. For now.
For now. Oh
For
boy,
now.
the technology is being built out. Here we go.
Yeah. That works with 27 different networks now. And so, yeah, we have seen people just using this, right? Instead of going to the bridge and connecting their wallet and waiting 30 minutes and then claiming it and then sending, right? You can literally just put your centralized exchange address right there. So, or send it to whoever you want. People are even using this. If you want to get real creative,
Oh boy.
you can send yourself to another address, Pulse in this case. And while it's not fully anonymous, to the average prying eye, it's going to break that chain of custody.
Wow. That's a big deal right there.
Right. So it's not fully privatized or anonymous, but to the maybe even above average person, it's going to break that chain of custody if they're following
Wallet
you on
sniffers.
chain. Exactly.
Yeah.
So you could even use this to just transfer your Pulse from account A to account B. Right?
That's amazing. I love it.
There you go. So we'll go ahead and just in this base example, we're just on our same account. We're going to change Pulse to ETH. Basic change. So you can also do that by US dollars or PLS. Now, there is something to consider here. So there are minimums and maximums for this. So let's say I do one PLS, right? It's going to tell me that the minimum amount for this is 171,000 Pulse. Well, let's say I want to change that much Pulse. Well, there's a maximum.
That's wild.
So this isn't the solution for mega whales, but let's say you needed to send, in this case, 65 million Pulse. You would just do 2 transactions at the maximum. So it's not like
it'd be so much easier too if you think about it. Like, so let's pretend you're going to use the traditional method, right? So first off, you got to send the Pulse. Well, not even that, but you have to bridge it out, right? And then you have to wrap it, and then after it being wrapped like that, which I mean, the bridge does it for you, which is super easy. But there are some other bridges where you actually have to wrap it first, so that's just another freaking step. But as soon as it gets over there, then you have to go to something like a Uniswap, and then you have to swap it. And now you're in business, and now you can move on. This is literally just like, hey, I'm sending this. It's already gonna wrap it and swap it for me while I'm sending it. It's just so much easier.
Well, and check this out. So even if, let's say, a user says, hey, I'm about to bridge in $100,000 of ETH. Great. They get over the bridge to PulseChain. Now, if it's their first time, they're going to get a little bit of Pulse. So that's awesome. Shout out PulseChain community. We're the best. That's cool.
Absolutely.
But a lot of people, A, don't know that, or B, have bridged assets in and don't get Pulse. So one thing that people don't know about me is I'm actually a moderator on the PulseChain subreddit. And so I'm not just like an internet money guy. I'm always out there helping people with PulseChain problems. One of the biggest complaints that I've seen recently, especially because PulseChain's getting bullish, where do I get Pulse? Where do I get Pulse? They bring their assets in and then they're stuck. So with this, people can bring their ETH, their base, their Arbitrum, whatever, and immediately have the gas coin. Now, granted, this isn't like, hey, I can't bridge in my USDC or whatever. But once you're on PulseChain, you can swap for whatever you want.
Yeah, I mean, it's not an on-ramp, so
Correct.
I mean, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Epic.
So yeah, if you're somebody that needs to swap, 10 trillion Pulse, just do it in multiple transactions because there's no limits for accounts. It's just limits per transactions, right? So if you need to do more than that, just do multiple. But in this case, we'll just do 200,000, right? $10. And you can see that I will be getting that amount of ETH. We'll go next. And if you're happy with all of the stats here with your outcomes, So in this transaction, there's a $1.40 loss. So there's actually there's a base fee for every transaction that this service charges, and
Mm.
it varies per pair that you're swapping. So like you if the fee looks more drastic when you swap smaller amounts, because if you swap $100,000, let's say, that base fee that's applied to every change, it doesn't look as drastic because you're swapping more. But
Yeah, it'd be like $100, right?
yeah, so there's a fee. Well, okay, so there is a, let's call it a pair fee, right? For regardless of if you're changing a penny or $100,000, the fee's fixed, and it varies per pair. And then there is a value fee of 0.8% of what you're changing. So that is variable based on the amount, but that base fee is regardless of the amount. So that's why it looks a little more drastic when the amounts are smaller, because that base fee has a bit more of an impact. And we're
Yeah,
actually
well, the thing at that point you got to think about is like what would be cheaper, right? So would it actually at some points be cheaper to send it over the bridge and then and wrap it and then swap it out and all that? Like at some points, I think like once I would almost say that this wallet is not necessarily like whale friendly, if
I
that's
would
the case.
say that just by nature of 34 million pulse, I think right now is like 15 or $1,800 or whatever.
Hmm.
I mean, that's for the average person on PulseChain, $1,800 per transaction. And even if they have to do like 3 or 4 of those, it makes sense. So yeah,
Yeah.
if you're a guy bringing in 1 million, this is not the solution for you yet. Although we can talk about what we have coming soon for those guys. So
Ah, we'll definitely get into that one for sure, probably towards the end of the show. Just kind of the future section. But yes, so you initiated the change.
yep, click to
Perfect.
initiate the change.
There we go.
And then now this, so this is pretty cool. You can actually go in and track this. And we did discover a little bug here, so demo gods are going to get me on this one. And this bug is fixed in the new version that's about to come out. But basically, you can watch your transaction in real time throughout the steps that it's going through until it hits your account. So it usually on average takes about, whereas the bridge takes, and we're not knocking the bridge, like we're going to have an in-app solution for the native bridge, so it's nothing against the bridge, just talking facts. Whereas the bridge takes you 30 minutes, several clicks, connecting your wallet.
And then
This is,
bam, there it is.
yeah, well, this is actually the bug. Unfortunately, when it confirmed the first one, it's confirmed the whole thing. But in the new version we're releasing, that's fixed. But it's about 30 seconds to a minute, but we're done. We're just waiting on it to occur. So let me see. We'll go over to here, and yeah, it'll be just a minute before it hits. But yeah, that's the bug we were working on. Software never ends. That is something I will tell you, my
For sure.
friends.
And real quick, I'd like to shout out Don Montoya, where he says whales don't swap in wallets just in general. If they did, they pay less in the Internet Money wallet than they would in MetaMask or in Trust Wallet. So yeah, I 100% agree with you, sir.
Absolutely correct. Yeah, just give it a moment. I assure you it will occur. Oh, there we go. See, now that's what I was saying. It cleared.
That's
That's the
hilarious. I
bug.
gotta love that.
Yeah, that's the bug. So that is fixed. If you're watching new version, that's the bug. But that is really it. And if you have a problem, it links right to. So we're partnered with Change Now on this. So if you need support, you can go right to their support. You can give them your ID here. They've got 24/7 support right on their website. We're actually gearing up to implement their fiat on an off ramp as well, and Pulse Chain is supported in that. So we will have that fiat on ramp to Pulse Chain.
I kind of wonder if in the future something is going to happen where the on ramps and off ramps are going to be connected directly to your wallets, because the idea is basically like you walk into let's just say you walk into a bank and you're like, hey, I want some cash, right? And they hand you the cash and you literally just put it in your wallet like that. Sometimes I almost wonder if wallets, or if that's going to be the new thing for wallets, where you don't need like a separate onboarding tool.
I see what you're saying. Yes. And our solution will kind of be like that, where a user, it's going to work with, I believe it's even going to support, what is the name of that? It's Apple Pay, but what's the Android one? Is it just Android Pay?
It's Google Pay, I believe.
Okay. So I believe that it's also going to support Apple Pay and Google Pay. It's going to support bank transactions. It's going to support credit card or debit card transactions. So a user is going to be able to be in their internet money wallet. Basically, that same functionality you just saw with changing from one chain to another. But instead, it's going to be, and it's not just US dollars. People are going to be able to on and off ramp into like 40 different currencies.
Wait a minute, that'll be fantastic, actually. So that's kind of like the idea that I guess like Coinbase and crypto.com are kind of doing right now. And a lot of that's kind of the popular way to do it is you onboard through a centralized exchange, and the centralized exchange has their own wallet,
Right.
which is automatically in there. And so that's where it goes almost immediately in. I have noticed that like crypto.com does something interesting where they have a fiat wallet and then they have your crypto wallet. And so it goes into your fiat wallet. And then from there, you can swap for other cryptos that goes into your crypto wallet at that point. So that's kind of like how they do it. So yeah, I bet you that same type of idea is going to happen as with what you're talking about there. But yeah, that sounds like a really cool idea where it's like your electronic wallet that's on your phone, like say with Google Pay or Apple Pay, right? Just goes right into your digital wallet of crypto coins.
Exactly. And the point is to be simple and fast, right? So there may be different speeds or different fees depending on where you live in the world. That's the weirdness with all these services, right? But the point is you're going to be able to take your fiat currency, never leave the internet money wallet, on ramp your fiat right into crypto, hopefully PulseChain, right? It will support that. And then when you're ready to cash out, off ramp your crypto right into your bank account. It's incredible. Like this, when people say, "Oh, we need to get adoption," how do we get adoption? Let's build some crazy dApp. No, it's put crypto on people's iPhones, let them pull it out, click the side button, get their Apple Pay, get their money in. That's, yeah, we have security experts and they don't like that. And I get that. And that's fine. But we got to be real with ourselves. Crypto has to be easy or people
Yes.
aren't doing it.
I've been preaching that for a while. One of the issues that we have with onboarding people is, well, first you need to go to MetaMask, and you got to be careful which one you pick. You know, pick the one with the most amount of likes on it and comments and stuff. You know, but because otherwise, if you pick the wrong one, you'll lose all your money. And then, but make sure you pick that. Okay, so then you got to get your seed phrase. And you have to write down all these, but don't write it down anywhere electronic. It has to be on paper, and you got to get it laminated and things like that. It's like. You've lost people at that point. They're like, I'm not getting into this.
So that is what I preach there is, okay, treat your hot crypto wallet as, if you're going to go to a night on the town in your your wallet, are you going to have your life savings and $100 bills in your back pocket?
Oh,
No.
hell no.
Exactly. So that is when I see hot wallets and fiat on and off ramping, whatever your threshold is, right? Your party money, so to speak, keep that in your hot wallet. Now, if you want to, if someone says, hey, look, I want to invest a sizable portion of my net worth into this ecosystem, yeah, I'm going to sit down with them. I'm going to teach them about hardware wallets. And if they want to put in big figures, they should be willing to learn. But to the average, when you're out at the bar with your friend drinking beer, where's he writing his seed phrase down, on a bar napkin? No, he needs to pull out his phone and buy crypto and move on with his life.
Yeah, exactly. And the way that humans tend to work, right, is the more of a one-click solution you can get, the better. Now, let's go ahead and take your wallet here that you've created as an example. Now, the normal way somebody is going to move, like say Pulse to Ethereum with what you just did here, right? The normal way is going to be you have to swap and wrap your Pulse, and then you have to go over the bridge, and the bridge alone scares a lot of people because the money will disappear for a short while, and they're like, "Oh, did I lose everything?"
Yep.
Yeah, but then from there, then you have to swap, use like Uni or whatever to swap then into Ethereum, and then because you wanted this with a different wallet, then you now have to go send it. So all of those steps, all the clicks in any one of these points could be you did something wrong.
Yes.
And you lose it, right? In your case, you literally from one to another, like from one wallet to a different wallet, you can just send it and it'll automatically take care of all that for you.
Right. Or even the same wallet to the same wallet.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
and people see like, oh, hey, there's a fee. Well, look at all those steps you just said. There's gas fees along the way.
All along.
So at some point, it may like not only are you saving time, objectively saving time, you can't even argue that. At some point, the fee that you would pay is gonna be less than the gas fees. If you have to swap on Ethereum, I mean, I've seen with Ethereum pumping right now, I've seen swap fees back up to $15-$20. So depending on what you're swapping, that fee was $1.40. You're gonna pay $15. You're gonna pay 10x the swap fee. It's crazy.
Yeah, and during like the height of the bull too, you'll get those $100 gas fees, like $500, right? And it's like what?
For people that are swapping $50, they're not paying 6x in fees, $300 to swap their token.
Yeah, absolutely. That's why I think it's funny now that we're kind of on the subject. I think it's interesting how the solution to high gas fees was actually L2s rather than these types of functions that you have here that you're working with. And the crazy thing too is those L2s are they're technically competition for Ethereum. It's one of the reasons why Ethereum is struggling right now because they have so many L2s that are just drawing the money away, and it's diluting Ethereum. And that what's funny too is our favorite 4,000 IQ alien Vitalik has realized this, right? And so that's why he's like, hey, I'm only going to pick certain L2s to actually endorse and all that. So he's been, even now he's walking back the whole L2 thing and being real cautious with it.
I mean, you're technically right. It's bringing liquidity to a different network. And even though it's still like Base still settles on Ethereum, well, the liquidity is the money, the value is on a different network. So I see. Well, I mean, I guess maybe Base is probably one of the better ones because I guess it is actually still ETH there, technically, I guess. But like Polygon, they're on Pole now. So
yeah,
you're right. You're right.
Yeah, it gets a bit convoluted. I'm gonna go ahead and bring Don Montoya up here again because he has another thing here. He's like, brother KG, any chance we can implement no KYC for smaller transactions, maybe up to $500?
So Don loves to drop Easter eggs. This is the co-founder of Internet Money, actually.
I love it.
Yeah, so we call him the Easter Bunny because he's always doing his Easter eggs. But basically, what he's talking about, and this is not official, okay, is we are talking with a fiat on and off ramp partner. That's not this one that I was talking about with all this. That has, in certain instances, no KYC up to $700. So that means people, for the smaller players, they're not even going to have to put their ID in and do all that weirdness. They're literally just going to be able to click 2 buttons on their phone and buy crypto. So that, again, not set in stone, but he's just trying to be bullish right now.
Oh man, so I did notice though, just before we move on here, I did want to shout out some people who are in the chat right now because hey, they're giving their time to us, listening to us, kind of talking around. And I think it is vital that we acknowledge these people. So the first one is going to be Funk Master Hex, who was here like hours ago, I swear.
Hey, man.
Good to see you, my man, my man. Hell yeah. And then we got Red Bull Green Bear. That's hilarious. I love that name. My onboard is
I
having
do
trouble
too.
connecting to his Coast account. He's on a MacBook using Chrome browser, and it only suggests I am mobile. Any tips?
For that one, have them join our Telegram and let's deep dive further. I don't want to take the stream up with a troubleshooting moment, but IM does work with Coast, so just join Telegram. We'll walk you through it. Only
Excellent.
get that link from internetmoney.io and click join our community. Don't communicate through DMs, only communicate in the main chat.
Awesome. So, we kind of already went through this a little bit, but I would like you to just kind of give a little bit more of a targeted kind of a targeted answer with this one, because there was a lot of things that you talked about the usability of the wallet, and we just went through it. But I just kind of want you to go kind of do like a mainstream. So how does the design of internet money support the mainstream usability?
Okay, it's a good question. So, okay, outside of internet money, I use a ton of wallets, as you can imagine. I have to. Okay. Today, I was actually onboarding my wife into just another wallet, right? Because we're always testing. And I was trying to do something as simple as find a private key. And I'm an advanced crypto user. If I'm not an advanced user, I don't know who is, but I'm an advanced user. And for the life of me, I couldn't find the private key. I went to everywhere I would logically thought it would be. And then it was just like behind some. Okay, I found it. This is a big
Your
wallet.
little keys, you like, where did I put them? Oh, they're in the fridge. My
Yeah,
bad.
basically, that's how it felt. I bring that up to say, answer your question directly. Everything that we do in the wallet, we're trying to put it in a place that somebody would just naturally think it to be. When we have a flow in the wallet, we're trying to be as logical, simple,
Mm,
reduced, elegant as possible. One piece of feedback we get all the time is, "Oh, hey, we don't like your UI. It's basic." Yes, it is. All right.
it's like
We're
that for a reason.
yes, that's part of it. And also we will introduce more skins and we'll make it, more whatever, right? It's subjective anyways, but point is everything we're doing is to try to make the experience simple and user friendly. And we will build into all of these advanced features that people love. We have some already, but even those we've presented simply and elegantly. And that's, to answer your question,
Love it.
simplicity is what we're striving for.
Simplicity is what's best. Technically speaking, as humans, and this is for everyone to understand, whatever is easiest, that's the direction we're going to go. We flow like water. All right. So, what are some of the challenges that you had encountered with the cross-chain functionality? Because that sounds like a really complicated thing that you had to build into it.
it it was a heavy lift. It took a few months to actually get it into the production public environment. Did a lot of background testing. When you're building a user interface, the wallet, it's in this case, for in one seamless interface, it's supporting all these different networks, right? What you'll notice, for one example, is if you have balances on all of those networks, right? It's going to show you all the balances across all the networks in one display. So the real challenge here was to make that complex, everything that was going on in that exchange elegant to the user. And yeah, there's still, 5 options, but at some point you just have to have the options. You can't not. So that was actually a challenge in keeping it simple and flowing well. I think I would say that was the biggest challenge. And, just generally, it, it was complex to develop. So, but we got it done.
That's good. That's good. So actually, so you said it took months to do. Kind of walk me through kind of what happened there. What were the tools you were using? How were you building it out?
Well, like I said, we partnered up. We don't have an official agreement, but we're using Change Now. We're using their technology. So all that
Change
back
now.
end infrastructure that is occurring is happening through Change Now. So you do have to get whitelisted in order to use their service. So that's, they liked us enough to do that, obviously. So for us, this was really majorly a front end endeavor. And so there was some back end work, but basically it was taking the information. I don't know how deep you want me to go into dev, but effectively, Change Now has all these different
Computer nerd stuff, basically.
Basically, yeah. I can break it down. I really can. I just don't know how if you want me to. I
Yeah,
don't
that
want
one. If you imagine hackers, typing away like this, right, with
to.
just numbers and letters and stuff.
Yeah, I
Basically that.
was about to get into it, but like, hey, your show, whatever you want me to get into, I'll break apart.
Yeah, no, we'll
Uh,
hold off on that.
Okay,
I think everybody gets the idea on that.
okay.
So we're good on that one.
All right.
All right, so let's go ahead. Let's move on into passive income because I know that
Mhm.
you've talked quite a bit about that. So Time offers passive income through native coin payouts based on the blockchain it's held on.
Mhm.
So could you delve into how this mechanism works technically?
Yeah. So circling back to the earlier part of the conversation, we saw the swap on stream. For those that just joined, welcome. Go back a little bit. We went through the swap on screen. That little fee that gets paid on every swap, that was distributed to time holders. So part of the invention is with time, there's no staking, there's no locking, not knocking those features, but we just chose to invent around that. So all the user has to look here. I'll do this. Check it out. Let's go back to a visual. Yeah.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. This one.
Everyone watching, thank you for joining. I appreciate you. Always remember, ascend. Next levels. Let's go.
Next levels. Okay. Now keep in mind, I just bought the time in this account. So this is not a representation of reality. So this is in the wallet. There's a dividends page. So you can see how much time you're holding, the percent like of the dividends that you're earning there, and how much pulse you have available to claim. So since I bought this time, 5 minutes ago, I've already earned 1.2 pulse just for
There
holding,
you go.
and this is, this is a $5 investment, right?
Yeah.
So
That's a
you can,
small amount, by the way.
yeah, it is. So you can see how your total that you've claimed and how much you have available to claim, right? So this is where the best place to track it. So I'm not staked. I'm just holding it, and it sits in the time contract until I'm ready to claim it. Now, depending on your taxation jurisdiction, there might be tax benefits to that. Consult your CPAs or your accountants. But until I hit this claim button, that is not transferred into my account. So another beautiful thing is you could claim, I could sit here and claim all day, or I could claim once every 100,000 years. No minimums, no maximums, no locking. Again, going back to the ethos of freeing your time. Nobody has to be glued to their screens. Nobody has to learn a complex system. All they have to do is buy the token. And as the wallet grows, as more people use the swap feature, you're just going to make money. So you could be an active participant in that growth if you want to help grow the network, right? Make more money. Everybody else makes more money alongside you. Or you can buy it, forget about it, and come back in a year and check your passive income bag.
It's going to be so useful for like bears because like I want you to think about this for a second. So 2022 rolls around, right? And it's like, oh, okay, well, I think I'm just gonna leave for a few years and then come back when the bull comes back, right? And so you're just like leaving it, and you come back. It's 3 years later, and you're jumping in here, you're like, oh my gosh, look at all this free pulse. Woohoo!
Literally, actually, yes. Here,
Absolutely, Don. If you're not making money, whoop, and it disappeared. If you're not making money while you sleep, you're doing it wrong. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Like and subscribble for me, you filthy degens.
I actually, yes, like and subscribe. You guys are doing great work. I actually want to send you this. Can you pull up a tweet on your end? I want to send you this tweet.
Yes, I can.
It's in relation to what we're talking about.
Okay, excellent. I gotta go click on this thing. Be here, and then you just sent me tweet, correct?
Yes. Yep. And time is deflationary. That actually, Don, thanks for reminding. That would be a good pivot.
Oh,
Talk about that after this.
there it is. Okay. And then let's go ahead and turn this on. And my screen went wild. Oh, that's lovely.
I think I can pull it up if need be.
I just got to turn on the window here. So
Okay.
that's this one right here. Share, ready to go. Bam.
Okay. So the reason I wanted to share this tweet. So this was, how 2 days ago. Yeah. So in the time contract, right or at that moment, 2 days ago, there was 1.7 billion pulse waiting to claim, and at that price was about $100,000. So that's just what was available in that moment. That's not everything that's been earned. That's not everything that those time holders have already earned. That was $100,000 in that moment waiting to be claimed. So
That's crazy.
that's the
This
power
is
of
at the
this
bottom
thing.
too, Like imagine Pulse gets to like 10 cents,
Yes, Nate. Exactly. Okay. So I brought this up because you brought the bear up. Okay. So remember how we were going to bearish the last year or 2 years? Okay. Time holders were earning money every day because regardless if people were dumping to get out of the system or are buying because they're bullish to get into the system, doesn't matter. Time holders were getting paid. Time holders earned money throughout the entire bear market.
That's important.
Very important.
Excellent. That's great. That's one of the things that I think, well, one of the problems I would say a lot of people make, right? Or the mistake that people make when it comes to money is they think, hey, I got $1 million in my wallet. I'm retired. Okay. But the idea is like, okay, well, you're not really retired because you still need that income, to constantly drip down to you. So that means that you need to split up that $1 million over like 20 years, right? So what ends up happening there? Well, okay, the way that I like to envision it, right, is it's kind of like you have this pool and the pool is filled up with water. Okay. Now, if you have like a spout, right, and you're always, spilling some of that water, how long until that water is gone? You don't have any water anymore, you know? So for me, if I have $1 million, that allows me to get some kind of passive income, whether it be through like dividends or crypto, yielding things like that, that is almost like it's a constant pouring back into the pool or using the weight of that water, right, that you already have to then create a new spout that actually that has infinite water, kind of flowing through. And it's because of the weight of the actual pool itself. So as long as you can always add to that pool too. That's the cool thing. So you're only ever gaining more water at that point while also living and being retired. Hence why I'm such a proponent on money printers, why I'm kind of like the money printer guy, right? And what I'm looking for is farming opportunities, yielding opportunities, something like this where I can literally just like set it away, forget it, have it being nice and safe in there, and just always having a little bit of a drip,
Exactly. The perfect analogy. Yes, perfect analogy. Because unless the amount of water you have is not what you need, right? And then you die before it runs out, great. Lucky you, I guess.
Yeah.
But you're right. If if you start to pull from a finite bag, a finite pool of water, it will run out eventually. And the passive income, like you're saying, when I go to sleep tonight, I will be earning money. Every time holder, regardless of what they're doing, is going to be earning money as long as people are swapping. And up until this point, there hasn't been a single day since we've launched, to my knowledge. So, you know, at this moment in time, I can confidently say every day since there's been time holders on PulseChain, they've been earning money. So, regardless of how bullish or bearish people are, obviously, more bullish typically leads to more money. But
that is true, and it's actually it's a compounding effect if you think about it, right? So if you're working, okay, you go to your 9 to 5, you're working to get gain money, and then you also have a money printer just giving you yield. It's like, okay, well now that's compounded money right there, right? So you're just constantly bringing everything in.
I think that's the perfect pivot point to, I love compounding. If I could share my screen to the buy and
Yes.
burn, if you love compounding, if you love passive yield, man, we are so slept on in the internet money ecosystem. I would posit that we've created the best asset in crypto, and I'm open to be debated on that by anybody. That's fine.
Oh boy, the greatest currency is going to come after you, man.
I am totally open to have and nothing wrong with the Grays. They're doing great. Congrats to everybody in that community. My statement remains, and I stay steadfast in what I said. Okay, different story though. All right. Buy and burn. So remember how I said there's a IM buy and burn and a time buy and burn?
Mm-hmm.
Well, we also have a Loan, Texan, Axis, Hex, PulseX, Inc., and Pepe buy and burn on PulseChain.
Wow.
So every swap in the internet money wallet is buying and burning these tokens. Yes, we're making Hex deflationary. We're adding to PulseX's deflation. We are putting deflationary pressure on Inc. as
Yeah,
well.
why the hell do most people not talk about this?
We need leaders like you, Nate.
Ah,
We need
what
leaders
what
like
is
you,
wrong
brother.
with you people? You need to get out there and start yelling to the high heavens this stuff. Okay, Jesus.
We need leaders like you, bro. Okay, so
I've got a friend who is part of the Degen Roundtable. His name is Jeff Apex Hex. Shout out to you, brother. And he only ever wants to use PulseX. He doesn't want to use any other DEX aggregator or anything because he wants that buy and burn. And I agree with him. It's smart, right? Well, technically speaking, he could just be using this wallet and then setting it for PulseX.
You are absolutely correct. So he could do one of two things. He could either A, swap in the wallet and click on PulseX every single time, regardless if it's the best place or not, and still use PulseX. And he'll be buying and burning. So he'll be buying and burning PulseX by nature of using PulseX in the wallet. And then he'll be buying and burning PulseX because using the wallet buys and burns PulseX. Or he can use the wallet, swap on places that in certain trades may be more profitable. And even if he's not swapping on PulseX, he's buying and burning PulseX.
Yeah, he's double. He's compounding the buying and burning because he's literally going through. He's going through PulseX, buying and burning it there, and then also because he's swapping it on internet money, it's being bought and burnt there too. That's insane. Oh my
Exactly.
God.
So Apex, shout out to you, bro. If you truly love PulseX, you're actually obligated to swap in the internet money wallet. So
that's right. I'm gonna go make sure I tell him that. You have to use it.
You have no use it or admit you hate PulseX. That's what it comes down to. Yeah. Okay.
Oh,
why compounding is so important here? So take everything we just talked about with time, how time is actually earning that mandated, how time is actually earning that passive income. So we've launched buy and burn contracts that hold time. So time is actually the fuel for these buy and burns. So for example, the time buy and burn is holding 2.6% 28% of the time supply currently. Anybody can deposit or withdraw their portion. Excuse me. So that means every swap done in the Internet Money Wallet on PulseChain, 2.6% of that is going and buying and burning time. Okay, so that makes time deflationary. That's awesome. Woohoo. So far, we've burned 0.2% of the time supply. Now, why is this even cooler than woohoo? Because remember, 100% of the dividends are getting paid to time holders. So as there becomes less time in existence, your portion of time is increasing passively. So not only are you earning passive income, your passive income generation tool is increasing in its passive income generation power. So not you're earning, so your passive income is compounding. If that was too many words, please tell me, because that is one of the most bullish things about the time system.
No, absolutely. So I know that we talked about staking already, but here's the thing. So like many passive income tokens, right, usually require some kind of staking.
Hmm.
That's just kind of the truth of it, and it adds a layer of complexity and it restricts liquidity. Some people, a certain individual got in some big trouble because of the hex staking, sadly. And shout out to the actuator guys. They're allowing for almost like a liquid staking type of deal, kind of like an end run around for hex, right? So shout out to you guys. Love you, Bill. So what drove the decision to allow the passive income without any staking? Is it just freedom of movement for you?
Yes, simplicity and freedom. There's so many systems that restrict what people do in crypto, and that's fine. I mean, there's game theory there. I'm not a hater of game theory. I participate in staking systems. Okay, it's fine, but it's just not what we wanted to create, and it's simpler.
I love what Don says here. The buy and burn burnt over 4 million time tokens, which equates to killing 2 sharks in the system. The way
It's
you put that, bro.
it's absolutely true. I mean, so far, this time buy and burn here has bought and burned $7,800. That's real world buy pressure of time off the
Mm.
open market, regardless of price, and deleted it from existence, helping the price and increasing everybody's passive income.
So, how does this impact the ecosystem then? And what incentives does it provide to grow the wallet adoption?
Okay, well, two very separate questions. How it impacts the ecosystem? Well, evident in everything I just said, right? Theoretically and provably, number go up because, I mean, obviously, if there's sell pressure, number can go down, but it's positive buy pressure and it compounds everybody's passive income because if you hold 1% today, if enough time gets bought and burned, you might own 2% tomorrow and you didn't buy another token, right? So for time holders, it's just layers of benefits. The all that crypto in the weeds game theory that we just talked about, I don't know that a lot of people that download the wallet are downloading it for those reasons. They actually don't
Mm,
even really know this exists a lot of the time until they
yeah,
spent enough
oftentimes it's just,
time.
oh, price go up. That's usually
E-
what it is.
Exactly. So time itself does help with wallet adoption, I think pretty objectively, because people are incentivized to hold time to talk about the wallet. So you have marketing there, so to speak, but also people want the product to succeed because they're earning money by it succeeding. So I think that that's also evident in how it helps its success.
Yeah, and can we discuss actually? So we have talked about how the revenue is generated by IM, right? The IMW. And so, can you discuss the technical process of how the wallet captures, pools, and then distributes, like the actual technicalities behind it?
Sure. So the when a user does a swap in the wallet, that fee is paid in Pulse. And again, if you're watching, this is for all the chains that time exists on, it's exactly the same. We're just using Pulse chain. So the user pays that fee in Pulse. And that pulse actually gets stored temporarily in the contract that does the swapping.
Okay.
Then there's a public function that anybody can call. It's a button right in the wallet called sweep. So one person has to sweep the dividends. And if one person sweeps it, it does it for everybody. So it happens, right? Sometimes I click that button. Sometimes I don't click the button. It happens all day, every day. So once those dividends actually get swept over into the time contract, everybody's balance is credited, and it just stacks up. So nobody can ever claim the time that you've earned, or sorry, the pulse that you've earned. So if you, let's say one guy owned that 1.7 billion pulse that I showed you in that tweet, that was his credit. If he died, that's 1.7 billion pulse that's never going anywhere unless somebody found his keys and claimed it. It's locked in there for the rest of time. So
deflationary.
that is actually, if you want to go down the rabbit hole, there's a case to be made that we actually, quote, burn pulse because, for example, there's some time and liquidity. So that means the liquidity pool is eligible to claim the pulse that's being earned. Well, I don't know that PulseX has a claim time dividend function. So there is pulse that's going to be in that contract forever. So we're technically also taking pulse off the market.
Oh, that's funny. Wait,
Yep.
so does that mean that you could create technically a button to then retrieve that pulse?
No, time is immutable with no admin keys. It will stay in there forever. It's done. Let me take a step back. Maybe, I think maybe what you were really asking, apologies, was like, could the creators of PulseX create a claim button? Possibly, if they have that ability to implement that feature, right? So I can't say yes or no for every single project, but like time can't be altered in that way. It's immutable.
Okay. Well, yeah. Okay. So the time contract is immutable then, and there's no admin keys, right? So, what influence these decisions, and what are the long-term implications for security and adaptability? As the project grows.
Yes. So immutability with no admin keys was an easy decision to make because it's the right decision, right? There are some systems where you need admin keys. Like, for example, our swap router has one single admin key that can turn a DEX off or add a new DEX. That's all it can do.
So I'm betting the reasoning for that is going to be because of, like, say if a DEX gets compromised,
Yep.
you don't want people to lose their money.
Yes. And if new DEXs come out that didn't exist when we launched, we want to keep adding to it. But that's it. The contract is verified, on chain, open source. So any dev that wants to put that to the test can go see there's only one admin key that the swap contract has. Now, I bring that up to say that all admin keys aren't inherently bad, right? So, a lot of people say admin keys are just, it's a black and white game. They're bad, nothing else. I don't ascribe to that philosophy. I think that's a wrong way to think about it. But when it comes to the token itself, I have a hard time justifying any instance of an admin key in a token because that means you can change the rules of the game. Whereas if you're using a swap contract, that's a service, right? So maybe the business has to adjust its business hours. Okay, if you want to say it that way.
Yeah, some pivoting. Yeah.
Yeah. But when you're talking about the asset, I don't know that I could justify an admin key. Not saying I haven't saying I've considered every reality. Point being is that time has none. Completely immutable, no admin keys, for better or worse, till the end of time. Time is what it is. We did our best to foresee every possible reality a group of human beings could possibly foresee. But if something comes that is unforeseen, like in the Hex case where it gets too expensive, we're just going to have to assess the situation and adapt with the details we have.
Excellent. Can't really argue with that. And I think admin keys, I think it's gotten because of, like pump.fun and things like that, all the memes, so many rugs and stuff like that. I do believe that there is a place where you definitely want to have admin keys. Uh, the example that you gave about like corporations, if it's a company, you need to be able to adjust. You need to be able to pivot, right? And so that it's necessary. But when it comes to something like the actual coins themselves, when you set up a protocol, it's supposed to like send these coins through there, and the coins are supposed to be almost like metal, right? It's supposed to be immovable, or maybe that's the wrong word, unbreakable, something like that, right? But you need them to do their thing. It's kind of like the cogs in a machine. If you have the cogs and you're starting to change them up, well, that's just going to cause everything to break because they no longer mesh anymore, right? So it'd be much better if you added new cogs, which would be like the protocol, right? You add
Exactly.
new cogs, so that way you can change the way that the actual machine works, but those cogs themselves cannot be changed because otherwise you're in trouble. And I think I do agree with you in specifically what you're talking about there. So
Right. Because when it comes to, like, in your example, when it comes to the token itself, I mean, that is somebody's money. Yes, it is true that on the swap or, some contract that's not a token, it's also somebody's money, which you still have to be very careful. But changing the rules of the money game itself, that's just not a philosophy of the internet money team. When somebody puts their dollars and converts it into one of our tokens,
yeah,
we want them to know what they're getting into, and we want them to know that it's never going to change, that it can't change, that it's all open source, immutable, communicated on chain. Our government changes the rules. We're not a government. We're not a ruler. We're people that want to build good, wholesome things.
absolutely. All right. So how about this then? So as the ecosystem grows, time holders will claim, or time holders, sorry, claiming increased amounts of native coins from multiple blockchains. How do you ensure the sustainability of these payouts over time? And are there any risks associated with your current model?
We can't ensure the sustainability of these payouts over time. That is the inherent risk with our business model.
Yikes.
So to answer both your questions there, but because it is contingent solely on people swapping in the wallet at this time. And soon we actually have a coming to the DApp. So whether you're using MetaMask or whatever other wallet, you'll be able to connect to our DApp and still use this technology, and time holders will be paid. It's completely predicated on, are people going to use the service? If people don't use the service, time holders will not be paid. So, hey, if you're a time holder and you want to ensure you're going to get paid, tell your friends, tell your onboards, swap there, and you'll always ensure that you're getting a payday.
Oh boy, is this the whole Ponzi thing now?
See, I no, I love that you said that, because the beautiful thing about being a time holder is the shill isn't by time. In all these other assets, what's the shill? Buy my ticker.
Yeah, buy my coin. Yeah.
Yeah. When I onboard people into crypto, or I'm onboarding people in the Pulse chain, most time, I don't even really talk about time. I'm shilling them, download this awesome wallet, and whatever you're buying, I'm teaching them how to buy it there. That's my shill. Because for me, sure, yes, I want people to buy time, but what I care about more than anything is increasing those dividends, because that's the real value. Sure, why do people buy tokens? Why do you buy altcoins? You want the price to go up so you can dump them for more pulse. That's why you buy altcoins. So if you solve the problem where people don't have to dump your coin for more pulse, you just give them more pulse, then people probably aren't going to dump your coin because all they want is pulse.
It's just easy peasy. Oh my god. All right, so
I do have one
let's
pulled
see a
up
time
here.
sure. Let's go ahead. Let's pull that up.
So again, I would contest any community that we have probably the best chart on PulseChain. And one key factor that we have that no other chart has is a lot of people don't know this. Okay, let me ask you this, Nate.
Yeah.
Honest question for you. No negativity at all. I'm legitimately curious. What is the oldest native project on PulseChain?
The oldest native project?
Not forked.
Not forked. Ooh, I actually don't know that answer.
You're
What
looking
is
at
it?
it.
Oh, this is the oldest one?
To my knowledge, we launched 10 days after PulseChain launched.
Oh, I think you're right. It was either this one or Genius AI, because I remember they launched like first week or two as well. So they're like right there with you.
Sure. So, maybe we weren't the oldest. To my knowledge, I mean, look, I'd love to see
But
when they launched. So,
super close
yeah.
though.
So, to my knowledge, though, 10 days is the oldest I've found. So, while there's some other communities with great charts, insert community here, none of them have the longevity of the entire existence of PulseChain. So when I say we have the best chart, look, how many charts can you find on PulseChain that they went wee and then they're dead? Look,
Just about all of them.
look at this chart. Lower lows, and we're still in. This was 5 days ago. We were in all-time high territory again. Didn't quite hit it, but we were there. So we've made higher lows, and we're still teasing our all-time highs as the oldest, until proven different, project on PulseChain.
Yeah, one of the things I do know that when you start getting deflationary, right? One of the important things to check is for higher lows, right? Consistent higher lows. Now, for people, people get really confused about the buy and burn, right? They oftentimes think that the buy and burn means it's up forever, which is true. But people they see it differently. They see the spikes, the green spikes, and they go, "Aha, that's the buy and burn." And it's like, no, 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 that's people buying. That's economic energy that's being thrown in. Okay, and so when it dumps off like the large red candles here, right? When it dumps off like that, that's just people trading back and forth, right? However, the way the buy and burns work is that it's basically because it's a forever buyer, there's always this slow, gradual up. And you can usually tell because the actual lows generally are still going to be higher. So you, for the most part, you get higher lows.
Yes. Because there's always a buyer in the system, even when the price is absolutely depressing and everybody is just like, oh, this project is dead. Is it ever going to make it? The buyer says, I don't care. And you're right. It's not the buy. I agree with you completely. The buy and burn isn't for those, candles to Valhalla. They're for that steady buy pressure, slowly removing supply off the market. And if the buy and burn is actually functioning, you should, excuse me, it is undeniably a contributing factor to higher lows. And for those that are like, hey, what's a higher low? Well, basically, you can look at a chart and you can go to its low point. Okay. Here, for example. And then they have run ups. And then you can go to its low point, higher low. They have a run up, higher low. And they have a run up. So, okay, we dipped, but still, we're finding on average that when we make lows, the lows are higher in the cycles. So this is why I argue that we are one of the, if not the best chart on PulseChain, because even after being the oldest project, we're still teasing our all-time highs. We're still relevant and building and growing in holders, liquidity. Yeah, look, we only have 59K here, but there's like 150K on Fux. I mean, we have liquidity all over the place. So I said enough.
So I'm kind of curious, what is your liquidity then? Like, what does it kind of equal out to? Do you got a kind of a rough estimate on that?
Yeah, I think it's about 250K across the major pairs.
Okay, so that's really good. All right, so I want you guys to think about something, right? So for every 10x in liquidity, that's 100x in the price. Okay, what would a 10x in the liquidity be for time? Okay, that would be what, 20 million?
I guess.
So
Yep. 2.5.
10x. Yeah, yep, just 2 million. All you need is 2 million. And that means it's really low cap, and that means that the price can shoot up very quickly because of that. And this is something that when I'm running around and I'm trying to pick coins to try and get, the big spikes, right? My thing is not like, hey, I'm gonna get into a coin and then next week, it spikes. If it doesn't, I'm getting out of it. I don't do that, right? I say I play the cycle. I go, hey, I want to look for these low cap coins that I know have something really good going on. Okay. Is going to have some sort of deflationary for the most part, deflationary, unless they got like really good farms and it's inflationary that way. That's all dependent though. But then also low cap. I want it to be really low cap, right? Lower liquidity, not like $100 or even like $1,000. That's ridiculous, but something that's like, maybe 50,000 at the very least. That'd be a really small one for me to grab, right? But if it's anything like basically 100,000 and over, I'll be good with that. And the reason why is because I know that as people start getting onboarded to PulseChain, people are going to see this and they're going to be buying it. And so, how hard is it for time to 100x? Not very hard. You only need 2.7 million to 100x. Like, come on, dude. That's a no-brainer right there,
I mean, if somebody just did it in this pool, didn't even go to the other pools, it'd only be 590K.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, that's why that's just a little trading thing. Obviously not financial advice, but it is the way that I like to do yearly trades. I for a while I was doing kind of like the monthly trades or like the weekly trades, and catching dips and spikes and stuff. And it's like, okay, well, I made some money, but I also got left behind on a couple couple of them. I sold them like, cool, and then it went up, and I was like,
Oh, it always happens, bro.
it always does, and that feels bad. There's a couple of them too that I knew that they could really take off way higher, and as soon as it started going up, I was like, "Uh-oh, I gotta capture it," and I ended up having to buy back in at a higher price. This is how people FOMO and how people end up losing at the game really bad. But the overall, what I do is I have a tendency to pick a coin and then I'll wait like anywhere from 6 months or 6 to 12 months generally, and I'll just kind of take a check at where the market is and what's going on with it. And so that's the way that I usually go and look at things.
So, hey, like Don will say, as long as you stick to your investment plan, then you can sleep better at night, regardless of how it pans out.
Yes, absolutely. So, is there anything else that we want to be looking at as far as the chart goes? We want to look at internet money.
Sure. Yeah, see, I am on BNB. That's years old. The internet money chart, still good, but like I said, time is our flagship. So
Mm-hmm.
this is I mean, still up about what? Oh, look, it's on a pumpy right now. Still up about 8x from the low. So,
So you want to know something funny?
mm-hmm.
That spike right there.
Mm-hmm.
I ended up selling on that.
You dumped the chart, Nate.
I dumped the chart, but hey,
Hey,
for my strategy though, right? It worked.
hey, I'll say this. I'm not offended. I'm glad you made money. Congratulations, bro.
Exactly. I made some internet money.
Yes, sir.
And see, here's the thing. So when it goes back down like that too, that's when you buy back in, because now you're on a low. Okay. Or if you notice too on the chart, you have this period of it's almost like a stable coin. It's just going just up and down. It's not really moving too much. That's what you call the boring times. That's also, and this is a strategy just worked very well for me. Okay. When something has been forgotten, it's really good to start looking at, hey, is this a good time to get in? Right. And I bet you right around that time, what is that? It looks like it was right around April to April
Oh,
to
here. Oh,
October.
this is September 23.
Oh yeah, that's the spike over there. But if you look over there at like April, that whole region went like when it went down, then you've got like it's almost like just boring right there. It's almost just kind of flat,
Yep.
right? Just a little bit here, a little bit there. That right there, that usually indicates that this coin has been forgotten, right? And everybody is running around hunting new shinier things. Right. New project came out, right? And I believe that was right around the time where there was a million projects coming out at the same time. So it would make sense that people forget about internet money literally being the oldest one on PulseChain. Well, here's the thing. When that happens, that's when you go and you buy in. Because as soon as it comes back around, people are like, oh yeah, internet money. Oh, I forgot about that. They start looking at it again, and that's when they buy in, and it shoots up on you.
You know, I do find it interesting that people are still bullish on internet money. And I mean, this is what started it all. I mean, it started on Binance, but internet money was the first thing we as a team ever launched. So it's very, and again, like Don said in the comments, there is no team allocation. There's a video on my YouTube. I think it's on the internet money YouTube where I burned. Long story on the, if you were around the internet money, the early days, you were there for the awesome saga, but there was tokens reserved to do some stuff and we burned them all and I burned them live. And at the time it was $15 million.
Whoa. Hello.
The video is there live. So that was tough, but we believe in what we're doing and we wanted to do it long term. And now it's very cool to say that you're looking at an asset that has no team allocation, no, hey, marketing wallet, dev wallet, no, completely decentralized, running on its own. That's it.
All good.
He's out on his own, jumped out of the tree flying.
Excellent. So, all right. Well, how about this then? So, with time providing passive income, by issuing native blockchain tokens, right? The issuing your own tokens. How scalable is this model if time adoption significantly increases?
Infinitely scalable?
Infinitely scalable? Whew.
I'm not sure where the scaling fail point would be.
Wow.
I mean, not saying there isn't one. I'm just
you just don't see it.
Yeah, because I mean, like, what's the worst thing that happens? I mean, maybe the time price gets so high that the dividends that it's earning don't make sense in comparison to its price. Maybe, like, you know what I'm saying there? Like maybe that's the. But then it's like, is that even a bad problem? That time
Yeah, because
so
your
hard.
price has gone so high. It's like, don't care.
Right. So I don't think that there really is a scaling I think the more we scale, the better this is actually. Theoretically, more people are going to be swapping, which means dividends are going to be greater, which means the buy and burn is going to be going harder, which means the time price is going to be pumping harder. It just makes, I just think it gets better with more people. Unless you see it differently. I stand it.
No, I see. I find it funny that it's like scalability. Let's see. If it gets too big, maybe it's no longer the best money making. Wait, that just means that you were sitting on the token and it went up so freaking high. Like that's a good problem to have, dude.
Exactly. And then like we're starting to see kind of what I think is a natural balance of what is just humanity's so cool. A natural balance of like people are giving time a price based on its earnings, which we talked about this before time even launched, that we we foresaw this would happen at some point, right? And as more stats dashboards come out, and people can actually see these numbers, and it doesn't become so abstract, right? But it's basically like we see calculations going on in our chat. Hey, if I hold one time token, I earn one, or however many pulse, 10 pulse a day, 1 pulse a day, whatever it is, right? So that you could argue is the true time price. But then you get another variable that we call the time horizon variable. That is, okay, so let's say I earn 1 pulse per time per day. So does that make the price of time 1 pulse? Well, what if I plan to hold it for a year? That's 365 pulse for one time. So how do you even bake in the time horizon variable into the price? So it for people that like game theory, there is a lot. I mean, this can be as simple as, hey, hold, make your money, don't watch it. Or we can get into trying to figure out price based on time horizon variables. Your call.
Yeah, no. I mean, if you want to, we can go ahead and dive into that, because that sounds like a lot of fun.
That was just more of a, we can, but that was just more of a statement to say that our system is for everybody, regardless if you're dipping your toes in, or regardless if you want to jump headfirst into a bowl of concrete.
I love it. All right. So, do you have any plans to adjust the fee structure based on like market conditions?
For the swapping?
Yeah.
No, that is fixed in the contract. And if we ever considered doing that, we'd probably have to do a time holder vote, because that's how they get paid. That's their revenue model. So it's not really an us decision to make that. And if we ever did that, it would be a complete relaunch of our contracts, because it can't be changed. That portion of the contract is immutable.
You have to be like time version 2.
Well,
2.0.
time, the token could stay, but we'd have to completely relaunch the swap router.
Protocol. Okay.
Exactly. And so, but that would, see, if we just go around changing the fees, to make them more or less, that's messing with people's bags. And there are a lot of implications that we're not willing to do that for.
Yeah. Yeah, because the issue that you would run into there is like, okay, well, you need incentivization, right? So maybe the idea is like you need to increase it, to incentivize people wanting to have the wallet and able to make more pulse, right? And buy more time. But at the same time, right? I'm sure everyone who's already holding would really like that, but I think that would really screw with yeah, I don't think people would want to swap like extra fees and all that. And I mean, that's where people are really, I don't think that would work at all. So I think you've probably got a good balance now. There might, the idea is just, no, it's not really gonna work for people. I think what you've got now is probably the best you could do.
Well, one thing that we've considered putting to a vote, and again, we'd probably do it by way of a vote, because this is consensus, right? Is actually lowering the fee. And initially people might think, oh, that's bad because we're making less money. But you could think about it as, if more people would swap, if it costed a little, it's literally 70 cents per $100 right now. So it's not even like, it's still small. So 70 cents per $100. But maybe if we cut that down to 35 cents per $100, maybe that would encourage 3 times as many people to swap. And so now you're actually making more. So there's a game theory case to be made for lowering the fee, I think. But again, that's not on the table at this moment. And again, it would probably be by a vote.
Yeah, and the idea is the incentivization of getting people just into the wallet itself. So yeah, I wonder where if you increased it, then you can start advertising, hey, I mean, you get more swap fees, you can make more passive income. But if you lower it, it's like, hey, these swap fees are about as low as you can possibly get. So this is going to be the place to go. I just need
Ex-
more people swapping.
exactly. And so theoretically, if it's lower, more people would swap. Theoretically, you're making more money.
Yeah, so I wonder that is a very interesting game theory right there. Thinking about like, wait a minute, what would incentivize people more? Is it going to be lower fees or would it be more passive income? Interesting thought, eh?
Yeah, I mean, we could speculate and guess, but only time would tell.
So, NT Fryer
What's up,
says
buddy?
here, yeah, right. Welcome to the stream, by the way. I'd love to see the fee somehow tied to the gas fee. Psychologically, it's hard to see a $300 Pulse gas fee and a 3,000 Pulse wallet fee.
Yeah,
Psychologically, I can see it.
yeah, I hear exactly what you're saying. And hey, look, if you're a time holder, and start sharing your ideas. If the consensus of the community is to rearrange the model, then let's work as a community to achieve that. So all ideas are welcome, and you as a time holder in this ecosystem have a voice. Share it. Thank you for sharing it.
Heck yeah. Speaking of community, so what mechanisms are in place to foster a strong community around internet money?
Say that one more time. I apologize.
Yeah, yeah. What mechanisms are in place to foster a strong community around internet money?
Well, we try to be inclusive, like I just was with NT Fryer, right? Trying to give everybody a voice and support people in our ecosystem, our community devs, our community artists who are making music and shirts and, whatever, where we're all content creators, right? You're out there making content about internet money. If I ever see you making something about internet money, if we ever want to have a stream, like it's something that I'm going to devote my time to. So we
Hmm.
have a really good just camaraderie in the community of support. And I see a lot of toxicity and elitism in other micro communities.
Gee, I wonder which ones those are.
Yeah, I, I actually don't see that in the internet money community. Maybe we're the crypto hippies over there. I don't know. But like we're people that are seriously wanting to make money, wanting to live wholesome lives, and wanting to support our fellow human being. I mean, the internet money community is my favorite community to engage in. So I think that's one, right? The social aspect of it. But also we have a financial aspect. You have
Mhm.
something that you can buy and you can be a part of a real, tangible product, right? If you buy time and you believe in internet money, or even if you just believe in the wallet, you have a product that you could say, hey, on your Android phone, on your iPhone, on your computer, go download this thing that I believe in, that I invested in, that I made possible. Come be a part of it. We're not just a set it and forget it ERC20, a token. Our ecosystem right now, we're leveraging over 20 smart contracts. We have an open source wallet on 3 of the world's largest app stores. People becoming a part of this ecosystem are a part of something big, are a part of something that transcends any one blockchain, that transcends any one culture or philosophy. And it's wholesome. There's financial opportunity and there's community. And I think that is the best. I don't know how you could offer better incentive.
Well said. Yeah, so I'm just gonna call you guys the crypto hippies from now on. Alrighty.
Revolution. Hey, those 1960, 1970 hippies, they were tough. They were sticking it to the man.
That is true. A lot like kind of like it's like we're not hippies right now, but we're also it's kind of like the Elon Musk thing trying to stick to the man right now. It's just I think that's crypto industry in
Yes,
general, where we are the rebels. All
exactly. Exactly.
right, cool. So, are there any plans to introduce community-driven governance features, or do you envision any other ways the community might, influence the project's direction?
I mean, yes, maybe. We we don't have official governance. Just there's weird implications there. But we do a lot of community consensus. And maybe for something like, again, going back to that swap fee thing, maybe we would do, like, maybe that would be a quote governance moment, but we wouldn't like guarantee governance in the tokenomics, if you know what I
Hmm.
mean. We're
Okay.
not a governance token.
Yeah, generally, I know that one of the issues that governance tokens tend to have is it's the whales are the ones that will ultimately control it.
It- so we thought about this too. Okay, let's just pretend we did the swap fee vote. Okay, so there's a few whales. They could go and say yes or no, and they would have a majority vote. Maybe not majority, but maybe even if they made up 40%, I'm using theoretical numbers. Well, then they only need to get 11% of everybody else in this theoretical example to sway their vote. Well, how do you combat whale governance? So we've actually, oh, dude, we spent we had a whole tokenomic in the early design of internet money and time that never even came into existence.
Hmm.
So we went deep, 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 deep down the rabbit hole of governance. And one way that we found that was pretty interesting to combat it would be have a minimum threshold of token and you only get one vote. So maybe the minimum
Hmm.
threshold is $5, maybe. Right. So that way, like, even if you're a small player, you could still have a voice, but not like a penny where you could be a bot and spin up 1,000 wallets. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
So have some threshold where it's basically achievable by everybody who cares. And then even the biggest guy, sure, I guess if the biggest guy wants to take $100,000 and split it up into, you can't really stop it. But if everybody gets one vote at a minimum threshold, I think that's the fairest way to do it.
Yeah, see, usually when it comes to governance tokens, though, is they try to incentivize whales to buy more, you know,
Yes.
and that incentivization is, hey, you get more votes. So I almost wonder if it should be like a percentage type of thing, you know, the percentage of the token that you own. So
Mm.
therefore, there is because you know I guess the idea is make the little guy with $5 more powerful of a vote versus the whale who bought 1 million of these tokens less powerful. You know, and you want to try and squish them together like this, so that way the votes are about as fair as possible, but still incentivizing people to buy more.
Right. Because you could also argue in your point there that, I mean, look, the whale who spent $1 million and, or $100 million, whatever, he's your biggest player. Shouldn't he get a little more say? He has the most skin in the game. So
Yeah,
it's hard to argue that the $5 guy and the $100 million guy should get the same level of say because that's why, like, we ultimately let go of governance because of these types of things right here.
it's a difficult one.
It, because how do you reconcile it? You know, and there's implications of, like, unless your governance is really finite that you can, like, actually define in the contract, there's a level of centralization to it, right? Community has to vote, and then some, like, are you familiar with the cult DAO system?
Yes.
Okay, they were pretty cool, right? They had guardians that, based on a certain level, I believe, you could be a guardian if you held a certain amount of token. And, like, I think maybe the guardians, and if you're a cult DAO person, hey, look, I'm sorry if I'm butchering it. I I'm sorry. This is just like my kind of outside knowledge, but, like, they could vote on certain things, but then there were still actors that had to execute the community's governance. So that's also another thing we wanted to avoid is, like, being beholden to those expectations.
Yeah, I could see that. I could definitely see that for sure. Well, so yeah, so you're not really thinking this is going to be a future thing then?
Again, probably not in any may. And again, a big maybe, like just one example, maybe in the swap fee change, if that ever came on the table, maybe we'd bring it to a governance vote for like something so special and so rare, and the only way to reconcile it because it affects all involved. Like maybe, and then yeah, so
Yeah. In other words, it's like it's going to be a debate. It's probably going to be a while before anything like that actually pops up,
exactly.
if even needed.
And there would even be like before you go full governance, there's going to be community consensus to vote on the governance. There's going to be governance to vote on governance. So
Yeah.
it's, it's like everyone's like, no governance votes, and it's like, all right, so we're just not going to do that.
Governanceception.
Exactly, literally.
All right, epic. So, this is so you're something of a philosopher, right? That is on your
Self-proclaimed.
yeah, self-proclaimed. There you go. I love it. So now, with what you're trying to do here with internet money, right? Ultimately, internet money aims to give people financial freedom, right? Freeing their time. Could you elaborate on the philosophy driving this mission and how it impacts the team's approach to development and the decision making?
I would love to speak to that, and I will. I will have to say, I actually see a message that came through here from Don, or not a message, a comment. It looks like the development team is needing me for something. So, I think this is a great topic, and I'll speak to it. But I just had to put that out there. So,
Oh, okay.
yeah. So, duty calls. The wallet never sleeps. So, something baked into everything that we do is this philosophical approach. And a lot of people don't realize, developers know this. My developers know that, not my, but it's my developer community developers. You guys know this. There's philosophy baked in software. It's a reflection of the person writing it, the team building it. So a lot of things take time to develop simply because you're trying to architect an idea. One thing that we bake into everything that we do at Internet Money is taking control out of our hands, giving control, equitable, true equity to the holders, to the users of the things that we build, and making it simple so that people can have avenues to potentially make money if these things do well and actually live real lives. And that's why this free your time is so powerful to us, because time is finite. I was doing this with Don the other day. A human being, if you counted, this is a crazy thought. If you counted to 3.5 billion, it would take you 100 years. You physically
Really?
do not have enough, considering every number took you on average 1 second to count. So you might say, oh, I can count 1 to the 5, 10, 10. Okay. But yeah, now count 100, 100 or 199,648,000. That's like 3 seconds right there. So on average, it's a second a number. So you physically, me physically, we don't have enough time to count to 3.5 billion. Okay. Why are we spending that time staring and worrying and FOMOing? Invest in something and a product that you can believe in and get behind. And as it grows, you grow. So that's just one of our core tenets, is making things so people can actually make money and live their real life. And if you want to be a crypto nerd, we got that for you. But you don't have to be. We want people to live happier, healthier lives.
Fantastic. I love that. All right, how about this? One more question, and
Sure.
then we can head out to close. So, with internet money and time as foundational elements, where do you see the internet money ecosystem evolving in the next 3 to 5 years? And is there any plans or anything for additional blockchain integrate? Oh my gosh, integrations. Ugh.
I got you.
Oh man,
I heard it.
or any new features that are further going to enhance the value of IM and time holders.
Man, we have a backlog and roadmap 3 miles long.
3 miles long. Whoa.
So at least. So the short answer to that question is yes. 3 to 5 years. It's going to be. We went from nothing to where we are now in 3 years. The next 3 years, we're going to be a different product for the better. Right? We're constantly growing. So the immediate priorities for the team are fiat on and off ramping, finishing our DApp to have swapping outside of the wallet. That's very close. We are working on an in-app browser that's coming up very soon.
That's a good one.
On the team. That, believe it or not, our highest requested feature, single most requested feature, in-app browser, which is why it took such a priority. So, and then just overall enhancing the interface, redesigning it in a way. So the focus for the next 3 to 5 years, or I guess not even the next 2 years, is getting these ease of use features in, fiat on ramping, in-app browser, all those things. And then also making the product, the wallet, prettier, so to speak, more elegant, and just continuing to find ways to grow.
Excellent. Well, KG, this has been absolutely amazing. The internet money wallet is something, that's for sure. And this entire project, like lineup of projects you got going on, is fantastic. Like this is the type of thing that we need in PulseChain just in general. And one of the reasons why PulseChain is one of my favorite chains overall is because of all the builders, right? You guys are going wild out here. And I'm the asshole who just gets to enjoy it over here. I get to play around, So
no, man, what you're doing, I know you're joking, but what you're doing is so important. Like, you are actually being a leader right now, because people do talk about internet money. If you're in PulseChain at all, you know about the wallet. But what you're doing is you're actually going out of your way. You're spending the time. You're learning. You're asking the hard questions. You're not just doing that with us. You're doing that with other projects. So A, you're giving projects a voice. B, you're increasing your understanding of the project, which is going to make you a better advocate for the project if you believe in it. And as more people do what you're doing, because look, we could all build wonderful, but if nobody knows about it, what does it matter? You could have the best thing in the world. If it's in your closet, who cares?
Yeah, it's kind of a problem with Phantom,
Exactly. So you are a critical key to this PulseChain soup.
And on that note, I think we will close it out here, because that felt pretty good. Thank you very much, KG. I appreciate having you on. And for everyone else out there watching, thank you very much for spending your time here with us. Hopefully you learned a thing or two. I can tell you right now that I really like this wallet. So this is something that I use, right? Not financial advice, but this is something that I am invested in. Okay. So with that being said, I hope you all have a fantastic night. Continue to ascend. And remember, every single day, you got to be doing something just a little bit small to make sure that you're a better person than you were before. So with that being said, see you later.